Hello and welcome back to our long COVID breathing advent calendar. So today I'm going to be talking about the vagus nerve. Now you may have noticed already that basically every single strategy that we've talked about in this advent calendar has been connected to the vagus nerve. And why is that? Because it is absolutely instrumental to healing. But what is the vagus nerve? So in order to talk about that, we need to take a wee bit of a step back and actually talk about our nervous system as a whole. So our nervous system is comprised of two branches, which is actually sort of three. So we have our ventral, which is our rest and digest, our parasympathetic nervous system. And that is where we want to be for healing. We also have our sympathetic, our fight-flight system, and this is our mobilization. So, it's important that this works because if we need to run away from something, if we need to take action, we need this. But what we don't want is to be constantly in fight or flight, which is what a lot of people with long COVID will find. That constantly pounding adrenaline, fast heart rate, fast breathing, all of these, symptoms, that is probably your fight flight. And then the third one is our immobilization, our shutdown system. So this is where you get your super chronic fatigue, you're literally crushing fatigue. Things like, super awful depression, where your body is just not even saying no, it's just shut down. Things like constipation, because your digestive tract is just like, nope. This is where the body goes when it sees no option but to shut down. So people with long COVID will be spending most of their time in the fight, flight and in the shutdown response. And both of those are healthy in some ways, but not all the time, which is where the problem kind of is. So what we need to do is to get back into that rest and digest zone, that happy, relaxed, socially connected, healing zone for the most part. And key to that is our vagus nerve. Now, our vagus nerve is the 10th cranial nerve, and it starts up here and it travels all the way through our body, through basically all of our organs, and this is why it is so important and why when it is dysfunctional things all start to go a bit wrong, which is what we are all experiencing. So we need to stimulate our vagus nerve, we need to improve our vagal tone, which is what makes us more resilient to stress. And there are so many different ways of doing this. So all of the things that we've talked about throughout basically all 24 days of the long COVID advent calendar will all do it for you. And it really is a pick and mix about what works for you, because what works for one person is not necessarily going to work for others. My example always here is that I love cold water. It was instrumental in my recovery, but that really isn't very appealing to a lot of people. Whereas the thought of acupuncture, to me, just sounds like the least attractive thing ever, but some people have found it incredibly helpful. So there's all sorts of things: breath work, meditation, I just mentioned cold water, acupuncture, what else? Gargling, singing, massage, things like TENS machines people have found very helpful, both the kind of ones that you put on bits of your body or I think it's called the NeuroSim that you put on your ear. So all of those sorts of things people find really, really helpful. There's all sorts of vagal manoeuvres that people can find very useful as well. And then there's things like the SSP, which is a safe and sound protocol, which some people have good effects with as well. So there's so many different ways of doing it, which is both beautiful and empowering and also frustrating, because we kind of do have to find our way through it ourselves. But, yeah, I think, certainly for me, I had to focus on the fact that there were things to do once I understood about what my vagus nerve was and how it impacted my body and what the nervous system was and what that actually meant and how all of my symptoms kind of, fitted into that, because basically dysfunctional vagus nerve can, cause pretty much everything, symptoms-wise, that is associated with long COVID. Certainly for me, that was right, well, at least now I know what I can do. So what we would love to hear from you is, have you enjoyed any of the ones that we've done so far? Are there any that you have enjoyed that we haven't mentioned, or maybe we will mention later on because we're not all the way through yet? What are your favourites? Have you got any particular tips for them? And yeah, how have you noticed that they have helped you in your recovery? So yeah, we would love to hear from you.